Hi everyone, I'm back with a crafty date with Daisy and Meggy video. This one is supposed to be, or it was supposed to be, our March video, but Megan and I have kind of been on a hiatus. I've had a couple of family things happen, and she's had a couple of her family and work things happen, and so we just kind of pushed them off these videos, the series, to the side. We are both very flexible, and I hope that you guys can understand that. As far as when we have time to do these, she has several other commitments, and I didn't want this to be like very a lot of pressure type of thing. I wanted it to be something fun, and so did she. And so we're kind of on the same page about that. And hopefully, you guys can be a little or not too harsh about it and be a little bit of have some understanding. So here you can see at the beginning I did have a die cut that said hello little one, and as you saw earlier I was also hand sewing some of the strips of paper. I originally thought I was going to hand sew everything, but that got to be a lot. So I did those two strips on the bottom, and then I started gluing all the strips with the thinnest type of glue from the it's Art Glitter Glue brand. It's Designer Dries Clear. And what I did is I tried to make a lot of either punched out strips or strips with different sewing or different colors and patterns. Some are cut straight, some are cut into scallops. And I even folded that one, accordion fold, the one I'm gluing down right now, to give it some texture as well. And all of these strips are made from leftover pieces of my March mini kit Monday kit. And I actually used this is using the mini kit Monday for March. And because this is when this video was originally supposed to be going out, but it didn't end up happening that way. And so I've finally gotten a chance to edit and do this voiceover. And if you hear my voice's congestion, or if you hear me doing like a hard swallowing, I apologize deeply. I apparently have a cold of some sort. My kids have been, my son came home with a bug at the last day of school, and then has just been passing it to everybody. And we've all had this. Now I'm having this head cold, and my baby boy has had it, and my older boys came with it from school, and so we've all kind of been dealing with this cold. Here you can see that I pointed out some of the places that I did hand stitch. I don't recall if I do any more hand stitching up towards the top, but I do know that I had skipped some of those paper strips so that I could machine stitch or sew with my sewing machine. And it was a little bit time consuming, but I did have a lot of fun making this layout. Here you can see me, I'm trying to use my finger and these scissors. I lift up the pieces because they're fringed and also punched out with a scallop punch from EK Success. And so I'm trying to lift up the fringes all at once so that I can sort of curl them up with my finger and give that side of the layout a lot of texture, especially since it's a lot of different strips. I wanted to create different edges and borders with them. And you can see at the top I did use a part of a journaling card that said things to remember, and it was just that little strip that I had, and I corner rounded the edges. And here I'm pointing out that I did sew on some of these. I did a zigzag stitch, or I did a straight stitch with the machine, and it has all these loose ended parts from the machine. I don't know what it's called or what the technical term, but like the frayed ends of the string. And so I cut them down, and I put a couple of dots of the Art Glitter Designer Dries Clear so that they could stay in place. And I just end up cutting the really loose parts off so that it would show to be nice and neat. I you see me here putting a strip of this washi, and it's from the Michaels brand. I can't recall what the name of it is, the brand for Michaels. But, and, oh, actually it's not. This is a designer die cuts with a view washi strip, washi tape, and it was from a collection. And I don't even know if I have the name of the collection anywhere. Vintage Collector, that's where it's from. I really like all the patterns in it, and it's a chevron. The chevron are kind of, they're one of the things that I have struggles with. And the washi was a bit on the thinner side, and you can sort of see on the wider parts of the washi the pattern, even though the pattern was a pastel color. So I backed it on a pattern piece of paper, and I cut out the edges to make them clean, and one is like a diagonal corner. And then I ended up doing another edge punch to kind of mimic what I have going on the left hand side towards the center of the page. I did get more, I had remnants of this fringed scallop, and so I also ended up putting those under the washi tape. And here you see me adding a bit of more of the layers because I wanted to bring some of the left hand sided patterns over to the right hand side, and that's what you see me doing. And I'm just laying those two pieces of remnants of paper down on the side, on the right hand side, so that it doesn't seem so off balance. I ended up using some of this Photo Freedom 2 paper. They were big 4x6 journaling cards, and I ended up just using the round frame to one and backing it behind that wood grain paper, and then the other one I edge punched with a notebook EK Success punch, and I backed it on the right hand side. So here you see that I do have a pattern over the wood grain, and it took me a minute to try to decide where everything was going. As you can tell, there's tons of stuff on the right hand side of my layout, and that's because I tried everything that I had pulled out from my mini kit to try and put into this layout, because I really didn't have any idea other than the sides of the fringe, and I knew that I had to make some sort of stitching element for this mixed media prompt that we used for the month. And so here you see me using a second strip, and I kind of wanted to create those same layers that I have on the left over to the middle of the kind of to extend it all the way to the other side. And I think that ended up looking really cute. It gave it a lot of texture, and it gave it a place for the center of the page to kind of have a landing or a ledge for the picture, and a landing place for the title as well. And so I really liked all those layered pieces on there. I used that 6x6 wood grain, and I believe that's from a crate paper or a Maggie Holmes 6x6 pad. I do bring in this little 3x4. It's not a Project Life card, but it is from We Are Memory Keepers. It's a one of those, I can't remember, pocket life cards. I made my own embellishment here, and what I did is I used a bone folder and a scoring board to make the rosette part, and then I used a scallop circle punch to hold the rosette together, and then I also made a mini bow with that yellow paper. I thought it was a good contrast to the little black scallop on the rosette, and that it would give it some punch. I did use this tack it over and over glue on the stitched part of my die cut, and I let it air dry so that it would be tacky and not permanently glued onto the back, because I knew that I was going to be trying to use a photograph and also a just a mat, because I didn't know whether or not I was going to put this picture on there. Here you saw that I did layer this pinked circle on top of a scalloped punched edge of pattern paper and then my rosette, so that it did give it more dimension and more texture. I really love the end result of this, and I'm really glad to have used a die cut that I don't think I would have ended up using, and I used the back side of it in order to um, use up that die cut piece, even though I knew there wasn't going to be any other place I'd be able to use. I hope that made sense. Sometimes I feel like my verbiage is all run-on sentences all together. Now, whether I don't really recall where the flowers were from. I think they're Paige Evans, and here I point out that I wanted them to balance each other out, and so I put a cluster of flowers on one side. The cluster was all made together already, and then that other cluster on the left-hand side. So they're kind of both hugging the photograph, or the mat and the photograph together. There you can see that that was the back side of one of those journaling pages, journaling cut-apart sheets from Photo Freedom. I put in a little cream and striped little piece of paper on the side, and this is the end of my layouts. There are no other close-ups since I gave this this layout to my niece already. It is of her daughter. And don't forget to check out Megan's layout. I still haven't seen what it is, but I know that it'll be awesome, so I can't wait to see it along with you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!